Welcome, Tiger. This is your 21st PGA Championship, and you have a little bit of history here at this golf course, winning in 2005, of course, and going undefeated in the President's Cup. So is it safe to say you have a good vibe with the course, but also golf in Northern California back to your college days?
Yeah, I mean, I played it before the redo, and so they've come a long way since then and made a championship site. I was fortunate enough to have beaten John in a playoff, and then had a great President's Cup under Captain Freddie. So this brings back great memories of coming up here, playing, whether it's here at Harding or SF Club, Olympic, or Lake Merced. We used to come up here and do qualifiers all the time.
That's cool. Let's go right out here on site with PGA Championship pool reporter Jeff Babineau. Jeff?
Hey, Tiger.
Yeah.
4 rounds since the restart. How ready do you feel coming in here?
I feel good. Excuse me. Obviously I haven't played much competitively, but I've been playing a lot at home. So I've been getting plenty of reps that way. Just trying to get my way, back into this part of the season. And this is what I've been gearing up for. We've got a lot of big events starting from here, so looking forward to it. This is going to be a fun test for all of us. The rough is up. The fairways are much more narrow than they were here in 09. And don't ask me for the routing, because I'm still getting a little confused with the routing. So still trying to learn that part.
Let's go out on Zoom to Lucas Weiss. Lucas, if you could unmute yourself, you were Tiger Woods.
Tiger, can you hear me?
Yeah, where am I looking? Okay.
Thanks so much for taking the time. First question to you is, so many of your major championship wins were...
Sorry about it. I muted him by mistake. Lucas, you there? Unmute yourself again, and I apologize. You're live again with Tiger.
Hi, Tiger. So many of your major championship wins were defined by just the energy of the crowd. Can you just talk about how weird it's going to be playing in a major without a crowd, and how it will impact you coming down the stretch, given that you're someone who feeds off of that crowd energy?
Well, that's an unknown. I don't know if anyone in our generation has ever played without fans in a major championship. It's going to be very different. But it's still a major championship. It's still the best players in the world. We all understand that and going into it. So there's going to be plenty of energy from the competitive side. But as far as the energy outside the ropes, that is an unknown. And hopefully I can put myself in a position where I can be in that position where I can feel what it feels like to have no fans, and also coming down stretch with a chance to win.
Let's go to Bob at microphone number 2 here on site. Bob?
Tiger, a lot different feeling going into the PGA this year compared to after winning the Masters last year. Can you sort of compare and contrast? I mean, is your game actually maybe in a better shape now than it would have been then, after all you went through after winning the Masters?
Well, after I won the Masters, it was a bit of a whirlwind. We got a chance to go to the White House, my family, and be with our president. And I celebrated winning the Masters for quite some time. Came to Bethpage and played awful. And I felt like Brooksy beat me by like 30 shots in 2 days. So my game is better than it was going to that PGA, and hopefully I can put it together this week.
Let's go virtual on Zoom to Michael Bamberger. Michael, unmute yourself, please.
Hi, thanks very much. Tiger, you said last year that you were working on a book. I understand you're working with the same writer who helped Andre Agassi and Phil Knight with their books. I hope that's correct, because that guy's a genius. I'm wondering what the process is like for you, and I'm wondering if you take any inspiration from what Michael Jordan did in The Last Dance.
Well, it's been insightful, and one that I've enjoyed the process of looking back on some of the stories, and been a lot of fun.
Let's go here on site. Microphone number 3.
Tiger, Ron Krajcik from the San Francisco Chronicle. You asked a little about the crowd and the noise. when you played here in '05, you described it as one ear was half deaf as you went back to the tee for the playoff. I mean, it was electric, I think was the word you used.
Yeah.
I'm curious, the contrast of no fans here at a public course where you've played 2 times and it's been very loud. And my second question is just the Sandy Tatum statue, and if you've seen that and what you think of his legacy given your Stanford ties.
Yeah, I've knew Sandy before I even entered college. 'Cause I played the US Junior here up at Lake Merced when I was 14, and got a chance to meet Sandy then, and knew the process when I was in college of what he was trying to do here, and he's the one who single-handedly turned this golf course into what it is now. What was the other part of your question?
Well, just the noise.
The noise.
You
Oh, yeah.
experienced here
Well,
those 2 times.
Well, concerning that, one, it was a team event where it's very bipartisan. It's us against the internationals, and then you couldn't have put 2 of the more, I guess, crowd-drawing people together at a playoff, whether it's myself and John Daly. So it was loud. The people were into it. And it was a lot of fun. I still look back on it. I just didn't want it to end the way it ended in that playoff. I think that the way we were playing, we should have continued. It was just an unfortunate way to end it.
Let's go out on Zoom to Brian Wacker. Brian, please unmute yourself. You're a Tiger.
Hey, Tiger. Obviously, the weather forecast for this week, temperatures are cool. How does that impact you in terms of swing preparations and so forth, and just dealing with that in general versus what would normal weather?
Well, I think that when it's cooler like this, is just make sure that my core stays warm, layering up properly. I know that I won't have the same range of motion that I would when it's back home in Florida where it's 95 every day. That's just the way it is. I caught talking to some of the guys yesterday. They were laughing at their TrackMan numbers already. They don't have the swing speed or ball speed that they did last week, and it's just the way it is. It's going to be playing longer. It's heavy air, whether the wind blows or not, but it's still going to be heavy. The ball doesn't fly very far here. I've known that from all the years that and times I've had to qualify up in this area. It's always 20 degrees cooler here than it is down there in Palo Alto, so we knew that coming in. And I think the weather forecast is supposed to be like this all week. Marine layer, cool, windy, and we're all going to have to deal with it.
Let's go on site. Microphone number 4, Steve.
Tiger, if you are concerned, what are you most concerned about your form coming into Thursday, and what are you happiest about heading into Thursday?
Well, I think that more than anything, it's just competitively. I haven't played that much, but I am the results that I've seen at home. Very enthusiastic about some of the changes I've made, and so that's been positive. Keep building, keep getting ready, and be ready come Thursday.
What kind of changes have you made?
Well, I'm not going to tell you that.
Okay, all right. I took a shot.
Gotta watch.
Nice try. Let's go virtual on Zoom to Mike Vernon. Mike, you are with Tiger.
Yeah, every week right now there seems to be a new record on sports betting in golf. There's more and more money going in every week. Do you ever hear stories from people about betting on you, or is that weird knowing there's this kind of money being thrown around now, like legally?
Well, yes, the word you put at the very end is different legally. Sports betting has always been around. It's been around. I remember players and coaches, placing bets on players, whether the matchups they had or not. But now you can do it instantaneous and shot for shot, and it's very different. But that's just the way the world has changed, and it's more accepting now.
On site number 5, Rex.
Tiger, throughout your career, you kind of made a science of peaking for the 4 majors every single year. Given how different this year has been, have you changed anything about how you've tried to build up and prepare for this one major this season?
Well, I've been trying to prepare for the 3. Trying to figure out my schedule and training programs and playing prep and the things I need to work on for each major venue. It's just in a different calendar order and different time of year. But this is a big run for us coming up here. So I've been gearing up for this, and looking forward to the challenges of not only this week, but obviously the playoffs and the U.S. Open, and then the Masters.
Let's go virtual to Scott Misha. Scott, you're at Tiger Woods. Unmute yourself, please.
Hey, Tiger. Some players have talked about, I think Rory has mentioned it, that it's been sometimes hard to keep your focus with no crowds around when you're so used to having a different environment at your tournaments, especially at majors. Have you found that to be the case? And do you maybe have to keep reminding yourself this week that this is the PGA Championship? It's a major, and it's not just the Memorial or another tour event.
Well, Rory has more experience than I do in that regard because he's played more often in this part of the season. I've only played one time. And those 4 days at Muirfield was a bit different. It reminded me of sometimes on the weekend you tee off Saturday morning and you just barely make the cut and you're first off and there's no one out there. But generally, by the time you make the back nine, there's thousands of people out there on the golf course, waiting for the leaders to tee off. But that never happened. So that's the new world we live in, and we're just having to get used to it. As far as the focus part of it, I haven't had a problem with that. Those 4 rounds, I was pretty into it. It's different than most of the times when you go from green to tee, people yelling or trying to touch you. That's that part is different. As far as energy, while I'm competing and playing, no, that's the same. I'm pretty intense when I play and pretty into what I'm doing.
On-site microphone number 1.
Hey, Tiger. Just two-part thing. One, what did you get out of those 4 rounds positive at Memorial? What kind of things did you take back to Florida out of that?
Yeah, it more than anything, it was I hadn't had the competitive flow. I've been competing at home, and we've been playing for a few dollars here and there at home, but that's so different, than it is out here playing competitively in a tournament environment. I hadn't played since LA, so it was a long time for me, and making sure that I felt the feel of the round and getting my feels organized early, and I got off to just a beautiful start. I birdied 2 of the first 3, so I got into the flow of competing very quickly. It didn't help that the wind howled on the first day, my first day back, and then Sunday was it was brutally hard. Being patient is one of the things that I was real proud of out there. Fighting hard as I did to make the cut. I birdied 2 of the last 3 holes and made a huge par putt on 9. Those are all positive things I look back on. I didn't quite feel my best on Friday, and it showed. And the weekend was tough.
Just as a quick follow, when at a major championship week, do you like when we look back at the Masters, in 19? Do you just kind of know that week? Is there a feel that you have that week? Where you just like, I got it, that kind of thing, and how difficult might that be to manufacture this week with so much time in between playing?
Well, there's probably only been 2, maybe 3 times where I knew that all I had to do was keep my heartbeat going and I was going to win the tournament. 97, I felt pretty good at Augusta, and then Pebble Beach in 2000, and then obviously at St. Andrews in the same year. My game was clicking on all cylinders for maybe the week prior. The week of, it got a little bit better, and just had to maintain it the rest of the week. Those were rare exceptions. It hasn't happened to me that often in my career, whether it's a non-major or a major. But those 3 weeks in particular, I just felt really good and had control of every single shot shape, distance, feels around the greens, putter. I had everything rolling.
Let's zoom out to Jason Dumas. Jason, you're up and you're with Tiger. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you. How you doing, Tiger? Jason Dumas, Cron 4 News. Back in 2000, now I don't know if you said it in jest or not, but back in 2016, you said one of your biggest regrets was leaving Stanford a year early. And obviously, you have a lot of memories and nostalgia in the San Francisco Bay Area. But what is it that makes this region so special to you personally?
Well, I lived up here for 2 years, and first time I ever lived away from home, and coming up here to Palo Alto and being in that environment, be around so many intellectually curious people and unbelievable athletes, and we're all in the same bubble together trying to figure this all out for the first time. It was a very unique experience and one that I thoroughly miss. And then coming up here, all the qualifiers that we had to play up here, whether it's here at Harding or it's Lake Merced or SF or Olympic, those were some great qualifying rounds. Coach would make us play in all different types of weather. If it was raining or not, go qualify, and we had to go in our spots. So those were great memories, great times, and ones I thoroughly miss.
All right, we're going to end this, Tiger, with 2 quickies on site here. Let's start with Ron at number 3 and then Steve at number 4.
Tiger, you mentioned how the course is a bit different from when you played here previously. Can you give us a little more of your impressions, having played a couple practice rounds, on how it's going to play? It seems like not a typical major setup, a little old school with the trees and maybe not as long as some courses.
It's not as long, but it's par 70. It's not as long numbers wise, but the ball never goes very far here, and so it plays very short. I'm sorry, very long, even though it's short on numbers. This golf course in particular, the big holes are big and the shorter holes are small, and that it can be misleading. They pinch in the fairways a bit, and then the rough is thick, it's lush. With this marine layer here and the way it's going to be the rest of the week, the rough is only going to get thicker. So it's going to be put a premium on getting the ball in play. I'm still a bit surprised that the surrounds aren't as fast as they are, and they're not cut short and tight. But they are grainy. Into the grain shots, and the balls are popping up and rolling out. Down grain, you can spin it pretty easily. You can spin it either way. So it's going to be, a test. With the overhang of these cypress trees and the ball, maybe a couple lost balls here. Cut a corner and the ball hangs up, and that could happen very easily here, and has happened, and I'm sure it will this week as well.
Have you ever had a ball in the tree here?
Oh yeah. Not here.
Any memorable moment?
I've had a few at Lake Merced. I mean, that's one of the tightest golf courses, the most claustrophobic places I've ever played. I've lost a few there.
Thank you.
Okay, last one, Steve. We'll wrap it up right here.
What chances do you give yourself this week? I mean, can you win this week?
Of course.
Short and sweet.
Tiger Woods, thank you for being